Annapurna is one of Nepal's most popular trekking regions. The 240-kilometer circuit has been widely considered the best long-distance trek on the planet, and it often takes travelers 2 to 3 weeks to complete. In October 2014, hundreds of hikers from around the world signed up to explore the region between Annapurna and Dhaulagiri. Though some trekkers followed the lead of international outfitters, the vast majority opted to go it alone or with the local guide. Many hikers arrived at Thorong Pedi, a little station with a few basic lodges at 14,600 feet and the foot of the pass. However, most hikers have been on the trail for over a week and still haven't reached an elevation higher than the Rocky Mountains average of about 12,000 feet. From Thorong Pedi, several people immediately began ascending the pass towards the Thorong Pedi High Camp at an elevation of 16,240 feet, and they stayed there the night before making the final ascent to the pass to allow their body to acclimate to the higher altitude. Sunlight and blue skies are typical this time of the month. However, a severe blizzard followed by numerous avalanches turned the trekkers' adventure into a nightmare. On October 14, 2014, a storm and avalanches struck the Annapurna and Dhaulagiri mountains and the surrounding areas of the Manang and Mustang districts. The Manang district lost all forms of communication due to the snowstorm, including electricity, cell phone service, and the internet. While some hikers retreated to the tea houses for safety, others continued over the pass and down the treacherous slope. Many people on the journey were either unprepared for the mountainous terrain or had never been on a trek. Most hikers were caught in the storm as they ascended the pass, where the track is marked by zigzagging lines of scree that have been compacted and trodden by yaks. In clear weather, the path is visible and easy to follow. Nevertheless, the trail became obscured when snow was blown in from all directions and the surrounding environment provided little clues as to which way to travel. The blizzard almost completely eliminated visibility. Due to poor conditions, many hikers missed their trail or descended without proper orientation, being trapped in the snow and eventually succumbing to hypothermia. While the avalanche was burying some of the victims and their tents, the inadequate communication among rescuers hindered the mission to save lives. The rescue operation relied heavily on helicopter missions, many of which were conducted by the Nepali army. The Israeli embassy in Kathmandu made the first international request for assistance after one of the stranded trekkers delivered a message by a local Sherpa. On October 15th, 22 individuals, including one guide, were rescued. On October 19th, when the rescue mission concluded, 400 mountaineers had been brought to safety from various parts of Manang and Mustang. But tragically, at least 43 of them did not share the same good fortune, and they all perished. 21 trekkers from various nationalities who had traveled to explore the Annapurna circuit were among the casualties. Among the dead were several local laborers who had played crucial roles in the expedition, including cooks, guides, and herders. This was the deadliest trekking accident in Nepal's history. However, the origins of the October 14 tragedy that shook Nepal could be traced back to India. The Joint Typhoon Warning Center had issued a tropical cyclone warning a week before the disaster hit. Cyclone Hudud started to move over the northern Indian Ocean's Bay of Bengal from east to west. As Hudud approached the coast of eastern India, warnings for strong winds, heavy rain, and dangerous surf were already in force for the coastlines of northern Andhra Pradesh and South Odisha. On October 12, 2014, it eventually reached Visakhapatnam and the nearby Andhra Pradesh districts of Vizianagaram and Srikakulam. Within Andhra Pradesh, Hudud was responsible for 61 deaths and an estimated $3.58 billion in damages, with US $1 billion coming from industrial losses. On October 12th to 13th, a short wave trough swept across the Eastern Himalayas. This trough intensified, and on October 13th, it collided with tropical cyclone Hudud, which was weakening. This collision merged the rich moisture supply associated with the remains of Hudhud with the abundant moisture supply connected with the upstream upper-level trough, which enhanced cross-mountain moisture fluxes. This interaction caused massive amounts of precipitation and snowfall to fall on the Himalayas, particularly wreaking havoc on the Annapurna region of the mountain range. The highest peaks in Nepal are mostly off-limits to anyone without extensive climbing experience and the proper technical gear. But the trekking sector brings in tens of thousands of visitors each October to the Annapurna region when the weather is typically ideal for hiking. Even during the month in which the tragedy occurred, many people lacked prior experience. A survivor from Israel acknowledged that she and her group of 12 companions did not have any prior expertise traversing terrain like that, and that they only had a limited amount of kit with them. One of the survivors said their guides had pushed them to try the dangerous Tharong Pass crossing despite their concerns. He heard of the cyclone and claimed it would bring awful weather. When he brought it up with the local guides and the personnel at the hotel, they all assured him that he had nothing to be concerned about. He stated that many locals and tourists lacked the necessary gear. The vast majority of the visitors had no prior experience with the mountains. On the other side, the first British mountaineer to summit all 14 8,000-meter-plus peaks in the world, Alan Hinks, claimed that trekking routes like the Annapurna circuit were typically suitable for even inexperienced hikers, particularly in the peak of the hiking season in October. Trekking in Nepal requires no particular skill or familiarity with steep inclines, and the trekkers travel on footpaths that connect the various villages. The weather is usually pleasant and dry, and most travels are along fabricated paths between towns and tea houses. Though it's more likely to be severe at 5,000 feet, it can strike anywhere. After the tragedy, the Nepal government was criticized for their apparent inability to warn hikers of approaching adverse weather by the cyclone's tail that swept across northern India. The Ministry of Tourism committed to enhancing the communication systems used for weather warnings and the available emergency shelters. According to the officials, the high death toll was primarily attributable to the fact that inexperienced hikers continued on their journey to outrun the oncoming storm. They said the hikers who intend to travel on mountain paths will be forced to bring along qualified local guides and will be required to get a GPS tracking gadget that will assist authorities in locating them in the event of an emergency. As the fourth most climate-vulnerable nation in the world, Nepal is susceptible to a wide range of weather-related dangers, including landslides, floods, and droughts. Authorities in Nepal failed to warn about the potentially catastrophic weather conditions that occurred in October 2014 because the country had not yet built a warning system tied to weather forecasts. Therefore, it is crucial to look into the specific meteorological mechanisms that set off such extreme occurrences and the climatic processes that amplify them to improve future predictability.